I always forget to do that.
I know, and then I'm like, darn it.
You're like, let's start over.
Okay, chat box on the side, and as always, and then we're gonna leave the last few minutes open for questions. So just so you guys know, take the advantage while Jen is on the call with us, you guys. We want to hear questions. This is interactive, and we want to answer as many questions as we can for you guys. Okay. So what is duplication? You hear that a lot in this business. That in order to grow and things like that, you need to be duplicatable in your business. And so I think that when we hear it a lot, we don't really understand what it means and why it's so important. But basically, duplication is simple systems that you can duplicate within your organization as your team grows, as your organization grows. Your role as a leader is to get a large number of people to do a few simple tasks over like a period of time. Ultimately, right? I mean, obviously there's many things that like your role involves as a leader, but that's pretty much like what you're looking to do if you're looking to duplicate, is getting people as you bring them on to be able to repeat the things that you're doing in your business to help them grow and build successful, businesses of their own. You are finding, the people, like when it comes to recruiting, you are out there like talking to people about the business opportunity. You have simple systems in place. Like, it's not that it's like an actual system, but you're doing repeated things all the time. You're recruiting, you're finding people to come on and, come into this business. You're helping them make informed decisions about whether or not Scentsy is good for them and why it would be good for them or whatever. You're training them, and then you're teaching them to do the same. That's basically what duplication is. So you want to make sure that you're creating simple systems. And there are kind of things that we touched on over the past couple of weeks, like bringing on new consultants and getting them off to a good start, and, building and identifying your leaders. All of that kind of ties into duplication and all of that. Like, I feel like each week we have a topic, and then we're like, oh yeah, we kind of talked about this last week, because again, it all goes hand in hand. Okay. So I have a quote here. I wrote it down. It says, finding success does not come from mastering 1,000 things. It comes from mastering a few things and doing them thousands of times. So again, that simplicity of it all. And you guys know, like, it sounds cliche, but simplicity is one of Scentsy's core values. And you have to make sure that you're creating simple systems. I think regardless if it's a system or whatever, it has to be simple, because it's just going to become like, if you're too focused on looking into all this stuff and teaching your team this and teaching your team that and teaching it, like, you may be good at something and you may be able to take on something that, someone else may not necessarily be able to do. But that's why it's important to make it simple, so that, why am I getting so tongue-tied? I think it's because Jen is on the call right now. She's making me nervous. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, you want to make sure that things are simple in order to grow. That's really going to make it so that your team and organization grows, in the way that you want it, and that people are taking on to doing these things. Because if things are complicated, they're more than likely going to give up on these things like that. Okay. But ultimately, duplication is where you're going to see your residual income, which is what we're kind of going to get into in a bit. And the wider you grow within your organization, the stronger your potential is to earn, more of a residual income, because you have that widespread throughout however many people that you're sharing the business opportunity with. But a lot of it comes from what we call growing deep, which is, again, teaching your teams to do the same, making sure that they're duplicating these systems to teach their teams, and so on. So does Colleen, Ashley, do either of you want to touch on anything real quick?
Well, I mean, I can talk about residual income if you're ready.
Yeah, you can go.
Okay. Okay, guys. So really quick, can I have a show of hands? All right. So some of us aren't in this for the money, and there's no right or wrong reason. Okay. I personally am very, very money driven. Okay. I'm in it for many different reasons at this point, and you guys being a major part of it now, right? The relationships are huge, but we want to focus on money this week, right? Now, as a money driven person, my big goal every single month would be to make $10,000 a month. Like, that's my big goal. And I know that it sounds crazy at this point because none of us are really near that mark yet, right? But I know for the first time in my life that 5,000% I'm going to get there, whether it takes 3 years, and I'm fully committed to that. Like, I'm ready for the 3-year haul, 5-year haul, whatever it takes. I know that I'm going to get there, and I've got a plan, and I'm going to take whoever wants to come with me. I want to see a show of hands, okay, from you leaders. Out of you guys, show me who wants to make $1,000 a month, every single month, consistently. Okay, who wants to make $5,000 a month? Okay, who wants to make $10,000 a month, consistently? Okay, so you guys are understanding that that takes a lot of work, right? And in order to get that money, you've got to be committed and you've got to be showing your team. And like Patty said, everything that we've talked about from week 1 all ties into this, leading from the front, right? Showing your team what you're doing. You've got to build wide and you've got to build deep. And like Patty was saying, right? You don't have to reinvent the wheel, you guys. Do these simple systems over and over. We talked about Party with a Purpose. We talked about the 6 selling points, right? Those are the things that you need to get down and you need to perfect, right? And then you're going to find your leaders within your organization and you're going to let them lead and build their own organization, right? And let them have their own swag and their own style, the way they want to lead their teams, but they're going to continue on that road of everything that you taught them from the beginning. And it's going to snowball and snowball and snowball into your residual income. That becomes your empire, you guys, okay? So what you do now with your team of 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, 50 is going to start off your chain of 200, 500, 5,000, 10,000. You've got to start now, okay? So if you want to make that money, as you all just raised your hand from $1,000 to $10,000, you've got to take your business seriously right now, right? And you've got to start identifying your leaders like we talked about. You've got to start showing them what you're doing. What we pour into you guys, right, is what Jen and Kristen poured into us. And here we are overflowing and pouring it back into you, right? And you've got to do the same. You've got to tip your cup over and show your team how you do it as well, right? So it's really, really important, you guys, that it doesn't stop right here, right? You've got to keep going. You've got to show them, like, what is it that you're going to show your team after this? Even when it comes to the homework, you guys, like, are you doing it? And the only reason we have you doing these things is because we know that it's going to help your business in the long run. We strategically thought about what we wanted to have you guys do and actually work through the process of, because we knew that it would help you at the end of the day, and your business would grow a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, until you look back when this whole program's over and you would have accomplished a lot, right? But are you doing those things? Because being a leader, right? Being a leader, having all this duplicatable, you've got to do it, right? You've got to be doing it, walking the walk, talking the talk, in order to have that residual income, because it starts with you, right? So you've got to make sure that you're on this call, but you're soaking it in and you're actually doing what you're learning and showing your team on the other end of this, what you're doing and how to grow their business, because you want them to have their own residual income so they can show their teams and their teams and their teams, right? Take responsibility for this business and start building your empire, you guys, wide and deep, all right? And your residual income will be that $10,000. And then when you hit that $10,000, you're going to make another goal. And it seems crazy, but you'll get there. Trust me, if you stick with it, you're going to get there. All right?
I think a lot too, can I say something to what you're saying? Like, a lot of it is, like, we know that that's what we have to do, but it's like getting our teams, I think that's the biggest struggle as a leader, is getting people to actually do what you are telling them and guiding them to know that these things that I'm doing here, that I'm teaching you, are going to work. Here's what I've come up with. This is how you do it. So it's a matter of them taking on to that, which is why, again, it needs to be simple. So I know that a lot of us are like on YouTube, and we're on Pinterest, and we're on all these things, and we're like, here, this, and this. Things start to get complicated. For us, it may be easy. Like me, I'm a self-starter. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Pinterest, I'm on Google, but not everybody on my team is like that. And I actually had to learn that the hard way, because I would be like, look at this, guys, look at that, guys, look at this. People need to do things on their own, because if you start doing these, they're going to start to depend on that one. But they're not going to be able to pull their own, come up with their own ways of doing things. But this is why, like, simple things like booking parties, sponsoring conversations, teaching them, all the things that we talked about, getting new consultants off to a simple, easy start that's duplicatable or duplicable, whatever the word is. I don't know how to say it. I'm like, duplicatable?
Duplicatable.
So, like, simple for them, because I will tell you, like we said this, a couple weeks ago, that new consultants are the most impressionable. So you have to make it so that those are the people, when they're joining, obviously you're digging into your leaders, you know who those people are, but like all new consultants need to be simplicity, and it needs to be like spoon-fed to them little bits of information so that they can go and take that back and teach them. You don't need to be sending them 10 15 attachments on an email when they first join, like I used to overwhelm my new consultants all the time. But just like, simple systems. And then also, in the process of that, people also need to pull inspiration from somewhere too. So I always say that you have to make sure that you are teaching your team things, like giving them, yes, it's important to give them ideas. I don't mean go ahead and start giving them a million things, but like digging into your leaders and then save the ideas for like a live video or a post on your team page or something like that. You don't need to worry about giving people ideas. There's so many resources that they can go and find, but if you want to, you have to give them something at the same time. So it's teaching them how to do things like that in their business, and also with your leaders, teaching them how to lead. It's like making it a process so that they're taking on to that and doing it too. So like, if you guys notice on our leaders page, like I have a leaders page for my leaders, I'll go live on there or something and I'll be like, oh, this is how I run my reports, whatever it is, because it's just showing them this is what I'm doing. If people do not see what you are doing, again, it comes from leading from the front, they're not going to do it. It has to start with you. Your team will not do what you won't do. Ever. So again, simple systems and making sure that they're, taking on to that with like, checking in with them, coaching them. New consultants, we talked about this. I like to make sure that I'm triggering their mind as far as, their calendar, what that looks like, getting parties on their calendar, who's in their circle right now that they could see as a potential host, like getting their brains to think, because once they grasp it, it's going to be easier. So before I ramble, I'm going to stop. Anyway, Ashley, do you have anything to add to that?
I just wanted to touch a little bit on retention, because if you have this deep and wide team, if you're not retaining consultants, where are your bonuses going to come from if you're getting paid at title, right? How do we retain consultants? Why do you think a lot of consultants get out of Scentsy? They don't feel a connection. A lot of them don't feel a connection. They don't feel like they're a part of something, which is actually really sad, because I look at our big group underneath this beautiful woman right there, and I've never felt less than valued. I've never felt that I'm not appreciated. I've never felt that I'm not truly loved. And if you want your team, your group to feel like they're a part of something, you have to build some sort of relationship. I'm not saying you have to be best friends with everybody, because you don't, but you truly have to want the best for them. You want to be a mentor. You want to be there to support them in whatever way is beneficial to them. And that's going to look different from person to person. Just like with the self-starters, you might not have to love quite so much. Some people you might have to love just a little bit more. And I don't mean mushy-gushy, hug and kiss them kind of love. If you know Jennifer Anderson, you desire the greatest good for them. And it makes the world of difference. I have taken time out and sat down with individuals that were just ready to say peace and really connected with them on a different level, more personal. How can I help you kind of thing, and totally turn their businesses around. So if you want to retain the people, you have to build a culture. You have to build some sort of environment that they want a part of. You have to give them a reason to stay. Remember when I told you guys that I'm more afraid of what my life would be like without Scentsy? That's what I want my group members to feel. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them. That's what I want every Scentsy consultant to feel, that they're more afraid of what their life would look like. Why is retention so important? Remember when we were talking about deep and wide, that's where the compensation plan, those bonuses that you get, remember when we talked over that? Guys, once you reach the level of director and above, your bonuses are going to exponentially outweigh your commissions, your personal sales. So growing deep and wide and retaining as many consultants, you're not going to be able to keep them all. A Scentsy business isn't for everybody, and that's okay. So at least you know you tried, right? So never give up on someone. Jen, thank you for never giving up on me. Patty, Colleen, thank you for never giving up on me. I already know what giving up felt like. I've done that so much in the past. I'm not saying you won't have thoughts about it at some point in time, because we've all been there.
You will.
You will. It's hard, but it's worth it. And I'm going to see what happens, because I'm not going to. Okay? Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. Jen, you want to tie it all together?
Yes. So first of all, I just want to say, everyone who's participating here, props to you for being here, because you guys are a step above. I mean, there might be other people who are the same rank or the same level as you, but you're choosing to commit to your business and you're sacrificing time. I know you are tired. I know maybe this is a family night for you. So props to you for investing in yourself and in your business. And ultimately, what I'm going to end up sharing with you tonight is how you taking this time out to be on this call really is investing in your family's future too. Because growing your business and sticking it out with Scentsy and building it big, which is what I'm going to talk about, impacts your family's future for the better. I have completely changed the course of my family's legacy forever. And it's because of Scentsy. So I'm going to talk a little bit about money with you guys, but I do want to talk a little bit about duplication, just like these girls were talking about. I also want to say that you guys are totally blessed, because hearing these three women together, they're like the perfect blend, because they each bring something totally different, but they all balance it out just right. Like Patty's good at one thing and Colleen's another and Ashley's good at another. Like you have a great blend and a really good balance in these leaders. So I hope you guys know how lucky you are that they love you and have partnered together to invest in you. So I hope you guys take advantage of it. Love you real good. So I want to talk about duplication real quick, just like they talked about. So duplication, what that means is basically creating more yous, right? You want to create more people in your downline that look like you, that act like you, that are interested in Scentsy like you are. I'm going to tell you, you will always, always have more hobbyists than you will ever have people who are serious about running a great business. So what that means is the answer to all of your problems is recruiting. Always, always, always recruiting. If things are slow, if your team is dwindling, if your paycheck's not where you want it to be, if you want to get promoted, the answer to all of those things is recruiting. The answer to every problem with your business is recruiting. If you're like, well, I just can't get my team to engage, I just can't get them to respond, they just don't give a crap, go out and recruit brand new people. That's always your answer, okay? So in duplication, in order to make more people like you, If you're having trouble finding them within your current organization, the answer is go recruit more people. Go recruit new people, because you're always going to have a lot more people who are hobbyists, who are part-time, who just want to get a discount, who don't really have the vision. You're always going to have a lot more of those people than you are people who are like you, people who are like-minded, people who want to do something, make money, grow a business, be invested, find community, etc. So I will tell you, I'm never one to lie to you, and I'm never one to paint a rosy picture. I will always tell you the truth. You're going to have to recruit a lot of people in order to find all the rock stars that you're looking for. Okay? So if you think about today, the way that my business looks today, there are over 1,150 consultants in our group. Okay? It's insane. It's totally insane and amazing. My business is 7 years old at the end of this month, 1,150 consultants in our group, and out of 1,150 something, about 25 of them are directors. That's less than 2%. Wait, am I right? Yeah, less than 2% are directors. There are probably an additional 50 to 100 people that I would consider consistent in their business, but that's again what? 10%, right? So you're looking at about 12, maybe 15% on a good day of people who are going to be either consistent and or driven like you are. So if you have a team of 10, what does that mean? Likely maybe one person is going to be consistent. Out of probably a team of 100, you may have 1 or 2 people reach director. Okay, those are just standard numbers. Those are just facts. And I'm not saying those things to discourage you or scare you. They shouldn't discourage you. They should make you be like, all right, it's time to put my recruiting game on fire. That's what those numbers should do to you. Okay, you should never look at those numbers and be like, oh my God, I'll never do that. I have a team of 7. It's okay, because you know what? Every leader on this call also had a team of 7 at one point. Did you know that even I had a team of 7 at one point? I was a lonely team of 1 consultant for like 4 months in my business. The first 4 months, I didn't recruit anybody. And I think I've reached director with a team of 16, maybe. Or 19. I don't know, something like that, 16 or 19. So the facts are, you need to keep recruiting. That always has to be your number 1 priority. And it's kind of always your job. So even 7 years into business, I'm still recruiting today, because likely my leaders that are going to promote in a year or 2 or 3 years are people that I'm recruiting right now. They're not people that I recruited a year or 5 years ago. Recruiting is always part of your job. Recruiting is the key to duplication. Okay? That's at least where you start. Then from there, I always say there's no magic formula, but there is a magic formula, and it's very simple. It's twofold: connect and train. Connect and train. That's it. That's it. I am not a systems person. I don't do binders. I don't do well with systems because I start them and then I quit them, or I start them and the binder sits on my desk for weeks. I'm not good at systems. So I finally just gave it up, and I decided I'm going to focus on connecting and training. That's literally my job. I connect and I train. As far as working with my downline, I still have my own business, of course, partying, recruiting, selling, all of that. But working with my downline, duplicating more people like me is done through connecting and training. It has to start with connection. So the relationship, just like these girls talked about. And you're right, you do not have to be their best friend, but you do have to lead them. You do have to love them. And when I say love, I mean desire the greatest good for them. Okay. So it starts with connection. Through that connection, you have the validity to then train. And by train, I don't mean create your own training book. I don't mean write a book. I don't mean do anything other than show them existing training content that already is around. Because every training that anyone ever needs has already been done. So do not feel like you have to reinvent the wheel, create something new. You're never going to come up with something that's going to blow somebody's mind, because it's already been said. It's already been done. So don't stress out over it. Don't feel like you're a bad person for doing that. You're not. That's your job. Connect and train. Point them to existing training content on YouTube, on your team pages, training center, business references tab, all these things. Connect, then train. Through that, and there is a third piece of it, and that's time. Okay? Time. It takes time for people to catch the vision. You will have some that are faster than others. You might be faster than others, or you might be slower than others, but that doesn't really matter. Connect and train, and then give it time. And continually repeat those same things over and over and over and over again with every single person that you come into contact with. That's how you're going to have duplication in your business. That's how you're going to create more leaders. I know last week you guys talked about identifying people in your downline. Those are the people that you connect and train with first. Those are the first people that you do that with, after your own business, of course. So you work your own business, connect and train with those people first, and then you let everybody else follow after that. So does that make sense to you guys as far as duplicating and finding more people like you? It is a combination of being a numbers game, okay? The more people you have, the more likely you'll find rock stars. That's just the truth. But also I feel like if you connect and train with intention, and if you're intentional with every person in your downline, that you can create leaders for maybe people who didn't join with that in mind. You know, I don't think, did any of you guys, except for maybe Patty, did either Colleen or Ashley, did you guys join with the intention of like becoming a director and like doing something great? Colleen did. Ashley didn't. Patty, you kind of did, right?
No, I didn't. I just literally was like, yeah, I'm going to test.
Oh, that's right. Your kit sat around for like a couple weeks or something, didn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just like started recruiting like a crazy person. And then all of a sudden I was like, hey, this is awesome.
Right. Okay. So sometimes you can create leaders through intentionality. Like Ashley was like, absolutely not. Patty was like, no, that wasn't for me. So those two leaders were created, right, from connecting and training. Colleen joined with this in mind. Like, so you will have some people that join who want to do something, but then you'll have people like Ashley and Patty who are bomb-ass leaders that were created through the magic formula of connection and training. Okay. So don't be afraid to connect and train with everybody, even people that you think, you know, aren't in it for anything great, or that they tell you they're not in this for anything great. Because I would say half of my directors like were either super reluctant to join and or joined and were like, I don't ever want to have a team ever. Okay. So, I, like Colleen, am incredibly motivated by money. And money is something that I think we don't talk about enough in this business. And I think sometimes it's a touchy subject, but it shouldn't be, because we all do this for a paycheck, right? I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't work as hard as I do for free. I wouldn't be in this for 7 years if I wasn't making any money, or if I wasn't, you know, I wouldn't be doing this for free. So money is important. Money is a driving factor behind why we do business, and it is okay. I want to give you permission right now and let you know that if you're motivated by money and money is important to you, I want to let you know that that's okay. And I want you to feel confident in having that as a motivator, and I want you to use that to benefit you and grow your business. I am motivated by money. Money is the number one reason that I own a Scentsy business. There are a lot of other really beautiful reasons that I'm in Scentsy: confidence, friendship, travel, camaraderie, being a force of good in the lives of others, all these beautiful things. But money is the number one reason that I'm here. And out of all the things that I could do on this earth to make money, I choose Scentsy to make money because of all those other intangible things that come with it. So does that make sense? Okay. And if you're not motivated by money, that's totally fine. You don't have to be like me, and I don't have to be like you. That's the beauty of it. So I am going to reach my 7-year anniversary with Scentsy at the end of November. And I wanted to kind of show you my progression of my paycheck from when I started until right now and what that looks like. I am going to share real numbers with you. So income disclosure statement. Results not typical, blah, 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 whatever. But
we'll put it in the comments.
This is a recorded call, so I guess I have to say that. Results not typical, but what I always say is, but I'm a superstar director and you can be just like me. Okay, because there's nothing holding you back. So I want to show you my progression. How many of you have had a $1,000 paycheck in a month? Fabulous. How many of you want a $1,000 paycheck? Okay. As a side note, I'm going to give you a real quick, easy way to get a $1,000 paycheck. You ready? It's pretty simple. Promote to director and sell 2,000 PRV in a month. That's it. Sell 2,000 PRV and get paid at title as a director, and you'll have a $1,000 paycheck. Okay? By the way, 2,000 PRV is an average of 4 to 5 parties. That ain't hard, I promise you. Even if you're working this part-time, you can do 4 to 5 parties a month. They don't have to be home parties, but I'm just telling you, that's how it is. You want a $1,000 paycheck, sell 2,000 PRV, and get paid at title as a director, and you'll be there, okay? So make that your immediate goal. Immediate. You hear me? I'm kidding. It's okay. No pressure. All right. So I promoted to director 9 months after I joined Scentsy, which was August. I promoted to director August of 2011. In October 2011, so I have Octobers going all the way down from 2011 to now. My paycheck was $2,464.87 as a director, and that was as a brand new director. As a side note, I am a fairly high PRV person. I have 2,000 PRV or more almost every single month. Mainly because why make 25% commission if I can make 30? That's literally my mindset. It's not like, you know, I just go hard and I'm just crazy, whatever. Like my mindset is literally why make 25% if I can make 30? So I have 2,000 PRV every single month. So that's what is in these numbers. In 2012, 1 year later, so after working my business, continuing to grow, continually adding to my team, 1 year later, October 2012, my paycheck was $4,540.11 in 1 month. Would that be life-changing income for some of you? $4,500 in a month. What could that do for your family? You know, think about that. And I just want to let you know that's me being a director for like 15 months. Okay. In 2013, this is really what I want you to pay attention to. 2013, I promoted to star director in October, and my paycheck was $4,537. Not much different, huh? My director generation bonuses that month, so out of that $4,500, my director generation bonuses were $660.47. That means as a star director, you have to have 2 first-generation directors. From them, I made $660. So $660 of that came from my directors. In 2014, my paycheck was $4,689.71 in October. Now I want you to look at, I don't know if you've written these down or not, but 2012, 2013, and 2014, literally 0 growth in my paycheck for 3 solid years. Okay? So this is really important to see this in my own business. Can you imagine working 3 solid years, month in, month out, going hard, recruiting like crazy, and seeing no growth in your paycheck? How easy would it have been for me to quit or give up or call it a day? Because you know what? That month in 2014, guess what my director generation bonuses were? Big fat 0, because my directors fell into DQ, or they got demoted, or they quit, or whatever, and I had no directors at that point. Guess what? The journey isn't just like this. It's like this. Up and down. It's natural. But in 2015, my paycheck was $7,039.61 in 1 month. And 880 of that was director generation bonuses. So almost $1,000 I made just from director generation bonuses. In 2016, October 2016, I was a superstar director at this point. My paycheck in 1 month was $12,501.17. My director generation bonuses, $5,917. Almost $6,000 of my paycheck came from director generation bonuses. That's just under 50%. The reason I'm sharing all of this with you is for you to see a few things. One, that the journey's like this. Two, that there may come a point in your business where you're working hard and your paychecks aren't growing and you think it's a good idea to give up. But can you imagine if I gave up during those $4,000 years, I would have never had the $7,000 or the $12,000 a month paycheck. Okay? And nobody would have faulted me for giving up at that time. Everybody would have been like, yeah, it's easier. Just go ahead and quit. Go get a 9-to-5, blah, blah, blah. But I knew, and I was resolved, and I was committed, and I knew what could happen in my business. In 2017, so last month, I am a superstar director. Last month, I think we had 24 directors in our group. My paycheck was $18,231.38 in 1 month. And the director generation bonuses from that were $10,754. So for me, and in my business, about 60% of my income comes from director generation bonuses. 40% of my income comes from personal sales and frontline TWV bonuses. I don't say any of this like to brag. Please don't think that at all. That's not my goal. My goal is to show you what's possible if you decide to not quit. And my goal is to show you what's possible if you decide to build it big. Because honestly, why play small? Why settle? Now, look, I know you want to have $1,000 a month paycheck. I get it. I just gave you the formula. Go out and get it. That is within all of your reach. You guys are all in this program because you're on the path to director. That is within your reach very quickly. And if you put your head to the ground and you go to work, you can get it done ASAP. I promise you. But why stop there? Why stop with 1,000? Why not go for 2,000 or 5,000 or 10 or 18? Why not? Because you know what? I have changed the course of my family's history forever. I come from a super long line of struggle, living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in debt, not managing money, having to say no because you can't afford it. I come from a long line of people who never took family vacations, who didn't know where their next meal was going to come from, who lived in really, really shady places of town and got our tires slashed and our windows broken. You guys don't really know my story, but I come from nothing. Nothing. And I could continue that cycle because that's all the world expects of me, is to continue that cycle. Or I could change the course of my family's history forever, which is what I've decided to do. Because why play small? You playing small doesn't do the world any good, and it certainly doesn't do you any good. So go big or go home. And you know what? Really, 18,000, I know that's a lot of money, but I ain't even stopping there. I know, literally, friends of mine in Scentsy, they make $70,000 a month. It used to take me 2 years to earn $70,000. Years. And they make it in a month. My paycheck this month, it used to take me 6 months to earn that. So I need you to know, like literally limitless possibilities. Literally, you can do this. You can build it big because I'm living proof. Go big. Stop dreaming of having a team of 50. Dream of having a team of 50,000, of 5,000. Build it big. Like, think big, act big, take massive action. That's how you get to superstar director. And I also want you to hear my paychecks all throughout my journey, 2,000, 4,000. That's a lot of money. But that's not like, whoa, life-changing money, right? You can go out and work a 9 to 5 and earn that. But 18,000, I would call that life-changing money already. So I want you to also see that everything you go through leads to the ultimate goal of superstar director. So please know that director should not be your end goal. It's an important step on the road to superstar director, because there's no massive money in Scentsy until you get to SSD. And I told you I'd tell you the truth, right? I told you I'm not going to sugarcoat things or paint a rosy picture and say, hey, once you reach director, life is good, you rolling in the dough and it's so easy. Because that's not the truth. The truth is your goal is SSD. And then once you're SSD, your goal is build it bigger, keep growing, be big and huge. Like, I want you guys to make more money than me. I want you to surpass me. Because every one of you has the ability, you have the capacity, I don't have anything that you don't have. I promise you. Except for the world's cutest pit bull. I do have her. But I don't have anything that you don't have. I don't have a special set of skills. I don't have knowledge. My college degree is in religion. That has nothing to do with Scentsy or business. I have no marketing experience. I have no sales experience. What I do have is resolve. What I do have is that a long time ago, I decided to change the course of my family's history forever, to leave a legacy for generations to come, to be a generous giver. A long time ago, I decided and I committed that I would never quit and I would never give up. And that even if it was hard, I was going to keep going. And that even if people laughed or told me I was crazy, even if my family thought I was nuts, which they still do, and that's fine. I don't care, because I've been to Africa and they haven't. For free. I don't care. A long time ago, I committed, I decided, I resolved that I was going to build it big and I was going to do great, crazy things. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not like a flashy person. I don't want to make all this money so that I can buy Louis Vuittons and build a mansion and drive Mercedes. That's not my goal. My goal is to make money so that I can give generously. I have I don't know if I've really shared this with any of you leaders either, but I want to adopt. Adoption is expensive, very expensive, but I want to adopt because there are millions of children in the world who have been abandoned or treated poorly, and they need love, and I work hard so that I can do that, so that I can be a force for good in the world. Because even if we don't like to admit it, you need money to do things like that. You need money to do good things sometimes. So that's why I work hard. It's not so that I can live this lavish lifestyle. It's so that I can be a force for good in this world, because I only have one trip on this earth and I want to make it count. And in the world we live in, you need money to make it count sometimes. So, do you guys have any questions about earning more money or duplication or comments or anything I can answer for you while I'm here?
Jen, I have something quick to say. You're like looking at your timeline with Scentsy and like the income that you were making, year by year. Mm-hmm. What do you think the change was, like going from, what was it, 2014 or something like that? You said it was?
Yeah. So I would say, for like 4 years, 3 or 4 years in a row, I made pretty much the same amount of money, and I wasn't connecting. I wasn't building relationships. I was really focused on just recruit. And I earned trips. I earned the top tier in every trip. I earned annual sales award. I earned annual mentor award once in that time. I earned annual sales every single year, but I wasn't connecting and I wasn't building relationships and I wasn't concerned about helping others be successful. I was just like, how can I be successful? And what I didn't realize is that by helping others be successful, that's what makes me successful in the long run. But it has to start with others. It ain't even about me. And I think I had a huge mindset shift there. And then I also started, for some reason, and I don't know why, but for some reason, when I started my business, it's like no one ever told me, or I never had the thought, like, build more leaders. Like I just never thought that way. I was just like, how can I increase my paycheck or get to star consultant or get to superstar consultant, or how can I get to star director? I never thought like build more leaders, invest in people. And it was a mindset shift and a completely different way of doing business. It was no longer just like sell and recruit. It was like, ooh, connect, train, build relationships, teach people to do what I was doing. And I think I also for a while thought, oh, well, this is how I run my business, but I sort of like kept it a secret and I didn't tell my team because I was like, oh, they can't handle this. That was one of the dumbest things I could have ever done. Don't ever judge that for your team and think like they can't handle this or they're going to get too overwhelmed or, they're not going to operate their business this way. Show them what you're doing.
Yeah, I tend to do that, or I used to do that, where I would want to like make sure I perfect something before showing it to my team, which is, again, probably something like the worst. Yes, I had conversations with you about this. Like, I would need to have it perfect before showing it. And it's like...
Patty has come a long way, guys.
Because that's how I get. I'm just like a crazy perfectionist as it is. Even though I'm scrambled all over the place, like, it's crazy how OCD I can get on something, meanwhile the rest of my life is in shambles. But it's like I said, you have to just kind of just show it to them. You don't need to have all the answers and it doesn't have to be perfect like that.
Do you guys have any questions for Jen while she's here? I know you guys are like fangirling hard.
Hit me hard.
Because I am. I'm like,
you guys are ridiculous.
Ridiculous, but true.
I do want to.
Are you fangirling over my double chins? Because those are cute.
Oh, you guys want to get me going? I love this. Who has a comment? I heard somebody.
That was me.
Hi, Sandy.
Pauline. Hey.
Hi, Sandy.
Hey, I just wanted to say that you inspire me so much, Jen. You were a director at one point early on in my journey. And there have been so many things and so many times that you have been the reason that I have continued and persevered. And I'm sure that you know that, but I just want you to know that you do make a difference.
You are a real gem, Sandy. And I thank you so much. I am completely undeserving of anything you had to say, but I will take your compliments with grace. And you are seriously a true gem. I've never spent time with you without seeing you just like have this, you radiate like joy from your face. So I just want you to know that, like, I just enjoy being in your company. You're just one of those people that it's just always pleasant to be around no matter what.
I did not come into Scentsy to do anything more than just earn a paycheck, and I have found something with all of you guys that I will never be able to explain. I mean, it's amazing. I am enjoying it more and more every day.
Well, that's the most special and beautiful thing ever in the whole world. We're so glad that you are with us. And you know what's even better? It's so cool that hundreds of people join Scentsy every single day, right? And it just blows my mind that like the people that are placed in our group, on our teams, you know, on purpose. God has all of you here on purpose. And like, I feel so ridiculously blessed to be surrounded by people like you, because whether you know it or not, you energize me, you keep me going, you motivate me. I know you guys think I'm like some self-motivational guru and I just like wake up every day like ready to go. But you guys are the ones that keep me going. You guys are the ones that motivate and energize and encourage me. So thank you.
Guys, I want to say, like, do you see how important it is to pour into your team the way that like Jen and Kristen have done to us, and see how loving like that is, and that we want to feed that into you, and how important that is for you guys to do that to your team? Like if we didn't have that given to us, then this could be totally different, right? And how it all like just trickles down from the top, like how we all have that no negative policy. Like when all that stuff went down, I'm not even going to talk about it, but this week, right? How we were all like you can vent, but this is not a complaining, like negative bashing this company place, because we don't get down like that, right? And we all hold ourselves to that because that's what was given to us. And that's now what we hold for our teams, right? And now you guys are going to go off and do the same thing, because whatever you hold important, whatever you do is what your team's going to do. That's what they see. That's what's projected onto them, right? Because they don't know otherwise. They're looking to you like you're their leader. You're the one that's in front of them doing this, right? And see how that loving, just like lead with love. And I will tell you this is a journey. My biggest takeaway this entire year and a half has been personal development. Over money, over anything. It's been personal development. And there have been times, maybe not that long ago, that I may have not been leading with love. I want to be always honest. You guys know I don't filter, right? I may have been leading with like resentment, or like, you know, I'm going to get you, but like I wasn't leading with love, right? And it was brought to my attention, not to me, but Jen is very wise with her words. She's wise beyond her years. So to have her as a mentor is amazing. And I can speak for me, Ashley, and Patty. We've all spoken about it privately, that she has directed me and shifted my leadership in a completely different direction, just pouring more into my business and my personal life. And this is what it's all about, you guys. Like, let us pour into you and love on you and point you in the right direction, because we're only leading you with love for your best interest. Like, we only want, as Jen would say, your greater good. And I only learned that because Jen taught me that. I otherwise wouldn't have even, I would have been self-centered and just been like, how am I going to promote? Like, how am I going to make money? Like, I need to make money, you know? But I realize it's not about that. And I need to love you guys for you and lead you by my love and what's your greater good, right? And I only knew that because Jen led from the front, right? So it's so important to lead from the front and to just set the tone and the example. Like, it matters a lot, even if you have 5 people or 500. Okay. So I'm very grateful for Jen. She gives me a lot, which you guys get the best of, because she gives it to me and I give it to you. So thank you.
Jen, can you touch on, I just lost my train of thought. See what I say when I'm so scrambled? Not getting caught up on the outcome of a situation. Like, I think with leadership, it's a struggle because you're like, you get not you personally, but like as a leader, the struggle is getting, I know for me for a while, and at times I still fall and do this, where you get too caught up on like what's happening with the person, if they're not performing or they're not doing what you want them to do, or you're wanting it more than them almost. And I know that, Jen and I have had plenty of conversations, even conversations where I was like, I need some advice. But just where she taught me, like, not to get caught up on that, because I think that that is a huge struggle with leadership, and it's a thing that can hold you back if you want it too bad for someone, and you know, like, what can you kind of tell them what you told me?
So, and I think I will say too that when you have smaller teams and you're building your business on your way to director, these things are more amplified and they're more noticeable because you do know everyone's name, you know everybody's face, you know their story, where they live, where they're from. As your organization grows, it is a little bit easier to kind of sort of disconnect from the outcome, because like literally it's completely impossible for me to know 1,150 people. You know what I mean? It's just not even possible. Like everyone on here, I know your names and I know who you are just because of what you've done in Scentsy, and your leaders have talked about you in a good way. Your leaders are telling me how great you're doing. And even some of you specifically, like I really noticed, you know, so I just want you to know that I know everybody on here, but it's impossible for you to know everyone personally as your organization grows. So as it gets bigger, it is easier to disconnect. I have a saying that I always tell my new recruits, and I always look them in the eye and I say, I will never want this more than you do. And I tell them that from the very beginning. I am very honest about that. I teach my team members to be the same way, never want it for them more than they do. And as a leader, I teach my leaders that you never show up more for their business than they do. You are never more involved in their business than they are, and you match their level of involvement. Okay? That's a phrase I say a lot with my leaders. You match their level of involvement. So anyone in your downline, they're not performing, you match their level of involvement. They don't show up, you don't chase them down. It's just the attitude you have to have, because what did we just talk about? You got bigger fish to fry. You've got a big business to build. You've got to get to superstar director. You can't be wasting your time like worrying or eating yourself up over one consultant who hasn't responded to your text messages. And let's be honest with you, get over it, move on, and go recruit somebody else. You know, what did I tell you is the answer to every single problem in your business? Recruiting. You got people who won't show up, people who don't care, people who aren't responding. Go recruit someone else. That's it. I mean, that's literally all you can do. Because, and I want everyone to repeat after me, I cannot control the actions of others. Say it.
I cannot control the actions of others.
Yes, good. This is so true, and you need to learn this now in your business. This is for your customers, for your team, your upline, your downline, your sidelines. Those are like peers that you meet in Scentsy. Like your family you cannot control the actions of others. You can't. So if something someone else is doing is getting under your skin, you just have to say out loud, I cannot control the actions of others, and you move on. Okay? You have to like build a wall, put your blinders on, do your thing, get over it, go recruit someone else. That's it. It's always the answer. Is that good, Patty?
No, that's perfect. Thank you. So do you guys have anything else that you want to ask or add or anything like that? We want this, you know, we want you guys.
You got me.
Yeah, right. Now while the, you know, seize the moment. No? Are we good?
And I will say, like what Colleen said earlier about learning from me, it's so cool because you guys get to learn from all my mistakes that I made, right? Everything that I did wrong in my business, you're learning from. And so you guys are able to be more successful than I have ever been. You guys are going to go on and be more successful than I'll ever be because you're learning from all the things I did wrong for many years. You're learning those now in the beginning of your business. You're cutting that out of the way. You guys are going to go build businesses way bigger than I ever could have or will. And nothing brings me more joy. Honestly, it's so cool. Like, it's so cool to think that, and that's another like byproduct of this business. Like, I'm able to be a force for good in your business because of all the things that I did wrong. You know what I mean? And all the lessons that I learned. So take my advice. And I'm not saying that in like a prideful way. I'm saying that like for your good. Take my advice because I did it all wrong. Now I'm doing it right. I'm reaping the rewards and I know what I'm doing and I wouldn't steer you wrong. I promise, because I want good things for you.
And you see how duplication works now? Like Jen can probably see like a little bit of herself in all three of us. Things that I say, I know that I've gotten right from Jen's mouth, and my team will be like, oh, that's good. Where'd you get that? And I'm like, nowhere. You don't need to know. Somebody. But this is duplication, right? This is exactly how it works because Jen gives it to us and we give it to you. So now you go give it to your team, right? And this is how it goes on and on and on, you guys, right? And you're going to build a massive empire, whatever you want, if you just stick with it. Because I know with anything, if you stick with it, you know it's going to work, right? It's life. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to work if you stick with it. So do we want to go over like homework or?
Yeah, can we touch on homework?
Yeah.
Do you want to do it, or Jen, do you want to say what the homework is? Does anybody want to say what the homework is?
Jen, you want to give the homework?
Is it both parts?
Yeah.
Ben came up with an idea.
Yeah. This is straight from Jen.
So you got to do it.
I'm kind of bossy. So she was like, what's the homework? And I'm like, I'll tell you because I'm Okay, so part number 1, are you going to post it in the group, Patty?
Yeah.
Okay. So part number 1.
Wait, before you say this, I'm so sorry. The reason why we asked her this is because obviously we value her input, and clearly you can see everything that we talked about tonight and what Jen has spoke about here is really holds value. So this is going to be really important for you to do. So go ahead.
Okay. So part number 1 is I need you to all put your like dreaming big hats on, like dreaming super big, right? So Patty's going to post an image in Accelerated Leadership Group, and it's going to be a blank check. And you're going to write yourself a check. But it's like going to be a big, scary dream check. Okay? Like something that like is huge. I'm not talking $1,000 a month. Like don't any of you write 1,000 or I'm going to come. I have your address. I will come to your house and make you write a couple zeros on the end of it, okay? You're going to write a dream check. I mean, go big. What did we just talk about? Don't play small. You're not doing anybody any good by doing that. Go big. Write yourself a big fat check of a check that you would like to see with Scentsy for 1 month. So like, I'll be honest with you, my big fat check is $50,000. Okay? That's my big fat scary, like once I get a $50,000 check, I'll be like, okay. I won't quit or feel like I can breathe easy, but like that's my like ultimate goal. Okay. So I want you to write yourself a big, huge check and you're going to put it on your dream board. If you have one, you're going to put it on your wall. You're going to do something. And I want you to have that number in mind always and be working towards that goal. Okay. 80% of people who write down their goals are 80% more likely to achieve them than people that don't. So just by you writing that down, you're already increasing your odds, okay, of getting there. The second thing is, since we're talking about duplication with money, you are going to learn how to goal set with your team, okay? So when I goal set with my frontline, and some of you, like, it doesn't just have to be your frontline. Here's my theory. You work with anyone who's working, okay? I don't care if they're 10 levels down from you or they're your frontline. It doesn't matter. You work with anyone who's working because they could be your first generation director someday. You never know. Or they could be your third generation director. It doesn't matter. So you work with anyone who's working. I ask them. So this is a step process. If you want to write it down so you remember, this is where you start. You start with a dollar amount. What do you want to make a month? Okay? This is how you goal set with them. You're going to do this with all of your team. What do you want to make a month? If they say, I want to make $500, then you break it down and say, okay, how much is that in PRV? So they have to tell you. That's 2,000 PRV, which actually is a $600 paycheck, right? But that's 2,000 PRV. So start with the commission, break it down into PRV, and then you break it down again. How many parties is that? How many parties is 2,000 PRV? 4 or 5, right? So in order to have 4 or 5 parties, how many booking conversations do they need to have? You're going to break it down all the way down to booking conversations, because everything you ever want in this business starts with bookings. Everything. Your PRV, your recruiting comes from bookings, more conversations, increasing your, what's the word I'm looking for? Customer base, circle.
Network.
Everything comes from bookings. So you're going to start with the commission that they want to make. You're going to break it down to PRV and then parties and then booking conversations. And then you're going to challenge them. Like if they have to have 3 parties, you're going to challenge them to have 30 booking conversations. Okay. And you're going to check up with them at the end of the month, see how they're doing, see if they booked their parties, etc. So this is how you're going to goal set with your team. This is teaching you how to mentor and coach your team well. Sometimes your team just wants like an accountability partner. So this is part accountability partner. But let me give you a caveat. If you haven't done the connection part first, this whole goal setting process with them, it ain't gonna matter. You gotta have the connection first. You gotta have the relationship. You gotta let them know that you give a shit, okay? I ain't sorry for what I just said. And if you
never say that on Radiant Rockstars.
I wouldn't say that there, but if you become a director and you come on our leadership calls,
you get the potty mouth.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. You get private access to my curse word library. I'm kidding. Really not. But so goal setting with your team, okay? This is going to lead to duplication because you basically want to create more people like you. You're going to do that by setting goals with them. You're going to teach them to do that with their own downline. But then through that, you also now, when they tell you what they want, this is my favorite. When a consultant tells me what they really want, I feel like, now I can get down to business and now we can really get to work because they just told me what they really want. And now they're so much more open to hearing what I have to say. They're open to coaching because they were just honest and like, hey, I want to make 500. So now when you give them tips to get that booking or get to 500 or increase their PRV or get that recruit that they want, now when you give them tips, it's tied to that goal that they set themselves. So they're much more responsive to what you have to say. Does that make sense? This is how you duplicate more use. This is how you create more use. Baby steps, right? Get them to lead, get them to start. You're going to create directors over time. But it starts with literally things like goal setting and conversations like this. So write yourself a big fat check. Do the goal setting progression with your team. Start with the people who are working, then your frontline. Okay? People who are working, then your frontline. You do want to do it with all of your frontline, but the frontline who aren't working, they're going to come last. That's just real.
So you do this like individually with these versus like a group like we're in right now?
Yes, because in this kind of format, maybe people won't be as honest as they should be.
Right. Well, that's what I was thinking.
Right. Or let's say, like in this sort of environment, you may not be able to connect with them like they need to be connected with. They might not open up to you and be like, yo, my dad was just diagnosed with whatever, you know what I mean? I need to take some time off for this. You can be so much more sympathetic and understanding of what's going on in their lives when you have that connection and have that open communication and that desire for their greatest good. And that's really going to come from one-on-one. And it can be done over text too. That's fine. Text is fine. You know, don't feel like you have to spend an hour on the phone with everyone because you don't. And that's not duplicatable, by the way, you know? So it can be done over text. That's fine. Everybody got the homework?
Yep.
Okay.
Now that I'm in, I'm going to be holding you accountable to your homework this week. So you have to do it.
Cracking a whip. I'm kidding. Well, thank you, Jennifer Anderson, so much for coming on here and talking to us all and breathing some life into all of us. I mean, I feel like $1 million right now. I mean, I have notes here, you guys. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm starting my coaching calls this week because guess what?
I have notes too.
Yeah, we're not going to be asking you guys to be, you know, obviously we put together this program, but things like this here are helping us too. So it's only natural for us to go ahead and now implement things like this on our own. So thank you again, Jen, so much. We love and value you so much. It's crazy. So, and thank you guys all for showing up. And yeah, just be bosses.
Thanks for
And I
having
just
me.
want to
What's that, Sandy?
I just want to thank the three of you as well for taking the time to invest in me.
Oh,
You're welcome, of course.
Yes, definitely. We're so happy to help, you know, anybody who's willing to want more out of this, obviously, you know, because that's all that you can do too as a leader, you know. So, all right. Well, thank you, everybody. We will see you all next week.
Thank you, everybody.
And-
Bye, Chloe.
Bye. Oh,
Nice news then. Bye. Happy Sunday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.